It's Christmas time again, and here's our 2018 letter to you.
Last winter we didn't have too much snow, but we had lots of ice on Briarrose Pond.
Even the horses tried out the skates.
Spring arrived, and it was a joy to see the grass turning green and the trees blossoming out.
The horses lazed in the warm sunshine. And the mud dried up and we were ready to hit the trails.
Rhubarb was the first to grow, and we made a big batch of juice. It mixes nice with everything.
The yellow iris were lovely, blooming against the red of the barn.
Our little family of tree swallows returned with much twittering and excitement. This year we had 3 pairs in our nesting boxes.
This handsome little horse came for the summer to be trained, and he was super smart.
Then it was haying season again. It's always a good feeling to see the mow full.
Dave was busy with the garden and digging post holes. And I got some painting done.
Lexi loves to supervise.
Jill, Brent, Grace, and Daniel came for a visit. It was wonderful to see them, and Dan loved driving the gator. Our wild roses were magnificent and smelled heavenly. And Dave's garden grew and grew.
Our family of owls were busy noisily raising their family in our woods.
We hosted our natural horsemanship clinic with Ron and Karen Pine and continued to improve our horsemanship skills.
In August, Beth and I, Julie and Andrea, headed to British Columbia to spend 2 weeks in the mountains.
We found this fantastic saddle shop and spent a whole morning looking around there.
The peak of Mount Robson was visible despite the smoke from the forest fires.
This is the Cardinal Ranch, where we spent 2 weeks riding with those huge mountains all around us. Cora was the beautiful little buckskin mare that was assigned to me.
These little chicks were determined to eat Cora's breakfast every morning.
Setter was Julia's horse for this day. He had a talent for shaking his head and making his bridle fall off at the most inappropriate times. And Andrea had Lucy. Lucy knew she was beautiful, and she really didn't want to associate with cows.
The smoke rolled in every day, hiding the mountains and burning our eyes.
But we had a lot of fun working with the cattle and learning to rope.
The bears seemed to be everywhere we went, but as hard as we looked, we never did see an elk.
We all spent a magical evening rafting down the Fraser River, and we saw a lot of wildlife there.
While the girls were riding, I was hiking, searching for rocks and fish, and avoiding the bears. I took an ATV trip that went way up into the mountains where most people never get to see. We all went to the ancient forest just outside McBride and were humbled by their size and resilience.
The second to last day, some of us were invited to take part in a cattle drive up the Roche River Valley. It was an incredible day spent in prime grizzly country with wolves and cougars drifting around. This is Julie and I giving our horses a drink. The odd color of the water is caused by the glacial flower. I had a nasty fall just before we turned back and ended up with 7 broken ribs and a punctured lung. This meant that I wasn't allowed to fly, so Dave and I had to stay for another 2 weeks, and we got to see a lot more of this wonderful country.
We stopped at Lone Butte and visited with friends Ron and Marilyn and had a fantastic home-cooked meal.
We headed down to Kamloops and loved the warmth and the different scenery there.
This is a field we discovered with a flock of sandhill cranes in it, and a tree full of vultures waiting to dine on some yummy roadkill.
As soon as I was cleared to fly, we did, and it was beyond wonderful to get home again. Even our horses were glad to see us.
Julie and friends held a firewood bee. Everyone pitched in and helped, and the barn was soon stacked full to the rafters.
Fall settled in, and the garden was done for another year, leaving the freezers bursting.
Winter arrived early with high winds and freezing temperatures, but we are ready for another Christmas. May the blessings of the season come through your door as this year closes and another one begins. Merry Christmas to you all, and Happy New Year.